Hello students. So welcome to today's video on algebra. So in this topic we are going to cover quadratic equations, inequalities, functions, progressions, logarithms, which are very important for this topic because algebra cannot be constrained to only some topics like just like your arithmetic or number system. Even arithmetic can be asked through algebra, like for example time, speed, distance can be asked in a linear equation form, or time and work also, or sometimes a quadratic equation can be given for a path or a projectile motion. Okay, so in these ways arithmetic can also be asked in algebra. So algebra cannot be constrained only to these topics. It can have a wide range of application, but some important models are there in which we have to discuss different aspects of that, so that we can cover maximum of the maximum topics in this. So we can clearly revise this topic very well. Okay, coming to topics we are going to cover with, start with quadratic equations. Before going to quadratic equation, let me ask you, what is a linear equation? So I think you all people know about the linear equation. So linear equation is a simple equation which has a degree 1. Okay, the variables will be in the degree 1. For example, x plus y plus a is equal to 0. Degree 1 means the exponent. Okay, the variables here are x and y. A is constant, so x and y will be in degree 1. That's why they are called as linear equations. So your time, speed, distance problems will be always be asked in this, or sometimes if they have more variables, yeah, they can be asked in quadratic equation also. But fine, what else we can expect in linear equations? So linear equations do have a wide range of application arithmetic. More than that, they can be given directly through your matrices. So through matrices you can solve different equations, right? So in that also linear equations can be asked. But coming to quadratic equations, how quadratic equations can be asked, and what are the topics that we have to deal, and what are the previous year questions of different BBA entrance exams were asked, we are going to cover that. Okay, let me not take this one. Yeah, so a quadratic equation will look in this format. That means a variable having a maximum degree of 2. That is quadratic equation. So ax square, a polynomial degree of 2, ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0. If anything is in this format, then that is called as quadratic equation. So okay, fine. So we already know what is a quadratic equation, and we know how to solve those things also, how to solve a quadratic equation. So we already know that we have to check for b square minus 4ac, which is called as discriminant. Okay, discriminant. So if you find the value of discriminant, we will get the roots. But what is the physical significance or graphical significance of this quadratic equation? Yes, it is graphs. So in graphs, how it will look? A quadratic equation will look in a format of a parabola. Okay, so a parabola will represent a quadratic equation. So solving for roots, what does that mean? So any form or any graph, if it touches x-axis, if it intersects x-axis, the value at that point will be easily known, right? So that format or that point is called as root of that quadratic equation, or intersection point of the parabola with that x-axis. Okay, so intercept points are nothing but roots of the quadratic equation. So how the questions will be asked? Finding the roots for a quadratic equation is very basic, right? Like in your 10th class or +1, the questions were based on that. But after that, how the questions can be asked? Have you ever seen this previous year questions of Indore or Rohtak? Even this year, they have asked a question on quadratic equations. If you remember, they asked about a graph. they given a function which is in quadratic equation, and they ask the nature of that graph. The graphs which always have a quadratic equation as their equation will be always in parabolic way. So in parabolic way, they will always have a minimum and open. Other side will be open. How to identify those graphs, how to plot those graphs, we will discuss it today. Okay guys, so now we are going to solve quadratic equations. Let us take a quadratic equation, x square plus 5x plus 6 is equal to 0. So can we solve this one? Yes. How? In this way we can convert these two things, this 5x or 6 in terms of like one after the other, like you can factorize this. So how to factorize this whole quadratic equation? You can separate 5x as 2x plus 3x plus 6 is equal to 0, right? So if I take x common, it will be x plus 2, and if I take 3 common here, 3 of x plus 2, and we already have x plus 2 as common in both the terms, so I'll take x plus 2 as common. So x plus 2 into x plus 3 is equal to 0, and if I equate any one of the term to 0, then x will be equal to minus 2 and minus 3. Okay, but this is a hectic process, right? Like I have to find a right method, I have to find a right term here to take common things, right? It will be difficult. Not only difficult, it is time taking, and you may go wrong somewhere else. But what is actually needed in a quadratic equation? First thing, when we answer any quadratic equation, when we solve any quadratic equation, find its coefficients first. This actually plays the game. Coefficients of x square, x, and a constant term. Okay, these three terms has to be found out at the first. So what are the coefficients? Nothing. They are the adjacent numbers of the variables. Here x square is a variable and here x is the variable. Their adjacent numbers are a, b. Constant term will be always constant, right? So these terms will be called as coefficients. So with these things we are going to find out the discriminant. So what is discriminant? Discriminant is nothing but b square minus 4ac. When you find this out, you will know the nature of your graph or your quadratic equation. What is meant by that? If you know that b square minus 4ac is equal to 0, if at all, b square minus 4ac is equal to 0, what is meant by that? Your quadratic equation do have equal roots. Okay, and what if this b square minus 4ac is less than 0? Okay, your equation doesn't have no real roots. Okay, and coming to greater than 0, the other condition, it means your quadratic equation do have two real roots. Fine, but when you find this discriminant, what actually it means? Let us see. So in a graph, if it touches at only one point, then it do mean only one root. Okay, but for a quadratic equation, as I said, parabola's equation is nothing but a quadratic equation. Do quadratic equation have only one root? No, not at all. It will have two roots, but both will be equal. That is called as one root. That means if b square minus 4ac equals 0, you will get equal roots, and equal roots mean touching the graph. The graph is touching the x-axis at only one point. Okay, and coming to the next one, no real roots. That means your parabola is not, your graph is not at all touching the x-axis. It will be in the air. or it is in the totally quadrant 1 and quadrant 2. Okay, so there will be no real roots at all. And coming to the next thing, that is b square minus 4ac is greater than 0. That means your parabola is going to intersect at 2 points on the x-axis. Okay, so this is the significance of b square minus 4ac. So there are different questions that were asked in different examinations. As I said, in Indore recently, they asked about like a quadratic equation is given. In that, they asked what is the nature of that quadratic equation. So every quadratic equation will be in this shape only. Okay, so how to find whether the shape is upside, if it is facing upside or downside? Whenever your coefficient of x square, that is this a, is greater than 0, whenever your x square coefficient a is greater than 0, parabola will be always be open upwards. Okay, and if it is less than 0, it will be open downwards, like that. Okay, so in Indore question, the question was a normal quadratic equation in whose coefficient of x square is positive. That means it is open upwards. So when the parabola is open upwards, can you find a maximum point? It cannot be. You know why? Because I don't have an ending point here. Can I can I keep any ending point to the parabola? We never. Okay, so there is only minimum point for a parabola. What if the parabola is in this way, just like this? A is less than 0, opening downwards. Can it be have minimum point? No, because we are seeing in this way, it will have a maximum point but no minimum point, right? Okay, so I am discussing all these things because there were questions that were asked in previous examinations. So fine, are we missing anything? So we have covered equal roots, discriminant, some part of graphs. Okay, come to sum and product of roots. Okay, in discriminant itself, you said b square minus 4ac will say everything about the roots, whether they are 2 or 1 or not at all or 0 roots. Okay, but not only that, this b square minus 4ac also says the values of roots. How? Only it cannot say, but combining with minus b plus or minus root over b square minus 4ac are discriminant value divided by 2a. So this value combined with minus b plus or minus root of b square minus 4a by 2a gives us the values of roots. Okay, so if this b square minus 4ac equals to 0, our first condition, if that equals to 0, it will be only minus b by 2a, the first case. If it is less than 0, that means the value under root is going towards negative. Can that be possible? No, right? It is going into imaginary numbers, complex numbers. So again, this thing will become either no roots or no real roots. Imaginary roots. Okay, that is less than 0. What if that is greater than 0? We will have two conditions there, because anything under root, even that is a perfect square, we will have plus or minus, right? If it is under root 4, what will be its answer? Plus or minus 2. Like that, we will have two conditions. So two real roots are possible. That means parabola is intersecting x-axis at two different points. Okay, so that is all about our determinant, not discriminant. Okay, so this determinant value. And what about sum and product of roots? So let us say, as I said, this value gives us two different roots, right? So one root is minus b plus root over b square minus 4ac by 2a plus minus b. The other root will be minus root over b square minus 4ac by 2a. Okay, so this part and this part gets cancelled, and what is remaining here? Minus of 2b by 2a. That means the value minus b by a of any quadratic equation gives me the sum of the roots. The sum of the roots. Okay, similarly, if you find product of these two roots, you'll get like a plus b plus, into a minus b, that is a square minus b square. It will end up giving you the value c by a. Okay, so that is product of roots. Okay, so this minus b by a is sum and this is product of roots. So with that we can know the values of the coefficients also. So there were instances in your previous year questions that, even recent examinations, I think GIPMAT, yeah, maybe GIPMAT, there was a quadratic equation is written by a student, on which he wrote the sum of the roots as wrong, but he got product of the roots as right. Other student wrote product of the roots as wrong and sum of the roots as right. That means one of the candidate wrote B correct, another candidate wrote C correct. That means you will take both of them and you will find the quadratic equation. Fine, right? So that is one method. With sum and product of roots, we are going to find this out. There will be many problems that can be designed on this thing. Like, let us say, let me change the slide. Yep. The value, there are two roots. One root is p times the other. I think this problem also came in Indore. Okay, so one root is a and other root is pa. Okay, so and they will give a condition now, like the sum of the roots would be some value like okay, sum of the roots is equal to product of the roots. That means a square p. Okay, now you have to find a square minus pa plus a, sorry, minus a is equal to 0. Okay, here a is one root, p is how much times the other root. That means you can find the value of a here. Okay, you will get values of a as two roots, two values for a. You can have one value, second value, and for this one value you will have other root and this have next root, like that. Okay, so you will have many questions that can be designed on this. One of the questions were like this, that there are two roots, okay, like a and b. Okay, in a quadratic equation, a and b values are this. What is the quadratic equation? What is the quadratic equation whose roots are 1 by a and 1 by b? Okay, that means you have to find the sum first, 1 by a plus 1 by b, and next product, that is 1 by a into 1 by b. Okay, now you can take that x square plus the sum as here 1 by a plus 1 by b to x plus c 1 by ab. Okay, like this we are going to find different equations also. Okay, I am not giving any design questions on these topics because they are of your +2 level. Okay, your board examinations do have all these problems, so I am not going to repeat them again. I am going to discuss what are the problems that were given in your BBA examination. So I will go to that, but before that, what we all can cover in this, we are going to cover in that. Okay, so roots to equation is covered. I just discussed about the topic. I didn't discuss about the different problems in that. Okay, you can take your board exam book and you can have lots of problems in that. Fine. Next, yes, equal roots condition is there. Least value. What is the least value for a quadratic equation? Can you say, as I discussed the prior one, that what is the minimum point? Minimum point is nothing but the least value, right? So can this parabola have a least value? Yes, that is this point. In fact, that is called as vertex, right? Vertex of that parabola. So if this vertex of the parabola is the minimum point, how to find a minimum point for a quadratic equation? No need to convert everything into graph and finding the vertex. So the simple formula is minus b by 2a. Okay, that would be vertex point for a quadratic equation or a parabola which is passing through an origin. But what if it is have a parabola like this, if it is passing through somewhere else? So this will be the x coordinate, right? So generally this will be your minimum value. But if they ask the coordinate of means here x comma y value have to be there, right? Why we are finding only, when they are asking the minimum value, why I am saying only minus b by 2a? Because I want this value. So this value is going to be asked. Okay, for that value minus b by 2a is enough. But if they ask coordinate, what is next? 4ac minus b square by 4a is a complete coordinate system. Is a solution in a coordinate system. But a minimum value is nothing but the vertex of the parabola, which is minus b by 2a. That's a simple thing. Okay, so these concepts, I think, one concept is remaining, that is conjugate roots. So what are conjugates? Conjugates are nothing but a combination of integers and surds. Okay, so if I have a root as 2 minus root 3, one root has 2 minus root 3, the other root has to be, okay, conjugate roots has to be like this. So their sum would be 4 and product would be 1. Okay, so these are called as conjugate roots. Okay, so I hope every condition has been discussed in a parabola, in a quadratic equation. Yes, it's not discriminant, it's determinant. Oh, sorry, it's discriminant only. Fine. Come to the previous year question. I think this is asking your Rohtak examination. If alpha beta be the roots of x square minus x plus p equal to 0 and gamma delta be the roots of x square minus 4x plus q equal to 0, where p and q are integers, these p and q are integers. If alpha, beta, gamma, delta are in geometric progression, then p plus q is. We are going to clearly discuss about progressions in our next videos, but for now, geometric progression is nothing but the a series of numbers which do have a common ratio. Okay, if you divide second term with first term, you will get a common ratio. It will be same for every consecutive terms, right? Okay, so saying that alpha beta be the roots of x square minus x plus p equal to 0. That means alpha plus beta, that means sum of the first roots will be equal to minus 1, and product of the first equation roots will be p. Obviously I have to divide with the coefficient of x square, which is 1. So that's why I'm taking directly as minus 1 and p. Don't get confused. Okay. For the next thing, gamma and delta. Gamma plus delta will be equal to minus 4 and gamma delta is equal to q. Now observe this carefully. Alpha, beta, gamma, delta are in geometric progression. Okay, that means if I know the common ratio, let us say the common ratio as capital R. Okay, if I multiply that with alpha, if alpha into R, that will give me beta. And in the same way, if I multiply alpha with capital R square, it will give me delta. Okay, I know you next will say that alpha into R cube will be delta, but not. Yeah, obviously that is right, but I'm not going to discuss that. I'm saying beta into R square. If I multiply this common ratio with beta only once, I'll get gamma. If I multiply beta with delta, I'll get, R square with beta, I'll get delta. Okay, so that means I have to multiply common ratio 2 times to the second term to get the fourth term, isn't it? Okay, so I am going to apply that here. In what way? Gamma and delta can be written as alpha R square plus delta as beta R square, that equal to minus 4. That means if I take R square common, alpha plus beta would become minus 4. Alpha plus beta is nothing but minus 1. That means R square is equal to minus 1 and minus 4 will get cancelled away and I'll get 4. Now R, the common ratio, either it is plus 2 or minus 2. Okay, so if it is plus 2, okay, if that is plus 2, my alpha would become positive. So how to find the value of alpha? Alpha plus, in place of beta, I am going to write it as R alpha, that is equal to minus 1. So if I take the value of R as plus 2, it will be 3 alpha equal to minus 1. That means alpha value is minus 1 by 3. Okay, that is the value of alpha if R is 2. What if R is minus 2? The same case. If R is minus 2, this will be alpha minus 2 alpha. That means minus alpha is equal to minus 1. Alpha equal to minus 1. Sorry, alpha equal to 1. Right? Now, yes. Am I doing this right thing? Minus b by a. Sorry, in the starting itself I am going wrong. It is minus b by a. It has to be 1. And here minus, it's not minus 4, it's 4. Okay, even here if it is minus 4, no difference because 4 only. Sorry guys, that's my mistake, my bad. Okay, so this is 1 and alpha will be 1 by 3. So here alpha is equal to minus alpha is equal to 1. So alpha equal to minus 1. So these two values can be possible for alpha. Like that, can I find the value of beta with this? If alpha is 1 by 3, beta equal to 2 by 3. If alpha is minus 1, beta is equal to 2. Okay, remember this thing. So yes, I got the roots of alpha as two different things. One is 1 by 3 comma 2 by 3 and this is minus 1 and this is 2. Which value has to be taken? If I multiply these two, product of the roots, if I take that, it will be 2 by 9, which is not an integer. The condition has to be proven. That means these things has to be minus 1 and 2. So P will be minus 2. That thing is over. Now come back to our the values of gamma and delta. So in the same way again, okay, yes, gamma can be written as, can we find the value of gamma again? So we have to convert that into a geometric progression, right? Like it can be written as alpha into r square and you have to find that again. No, it will take huge time. It will kill your time. You already know what is alpha. It is as minus 1. And you already know the common ratio, that is minus 2. Okay, remember we are getting alpha as -1 when we are taking r as -2. Don't forget that. Don't take it as +2. So if r is alpha, alpha is -1, r is -2. That means beta would become 2, right? Like alpha into beta will become alpha r, gamma will become alpha r square, and delta will become alpha into r cube. Okay, in that way beta is 2, which is right, we already got it. And what is gamma? Gamma is alpha into r square is 4, alpha is -1, so it is -4. And what about this? R cube is -8, alpha is -1, so it will be +8. And now they are asking the value of q would become -32, and p is already we know it's -2. They are asking the value of p plus q, which is -34. So this is one of the previous year question that you have to know before going into this examination. Okay, now let's go to the next question. Okay, so see this. What is the number of real solutions of the equation x square minus 7 mod x minus 18? Now observe carefully, they are not asking the values of x. Okay, they are clearly asking the number of real solutions. That means how many solutions are possible for this equation. Okay, fine. X square minus 7x mod x minus 18 is equal to 0. When you see directly, if you have a minimum knowledge, you can say that it is two equations, two solutions. But that is wrong. Why? Because it is not a single equation. It is not a single quadratic equation. It's a combination of two quadratic equations. How? This mod x can be written as plus x or minus x. Okay, what is the significance of mod x? Whenever you give any value or of any magnitude, whether it is a plus sign or minus sign, it will give you positive sign only. Okay, so for that you have to convert this quadratic equation into the possible quadratic equations like this: x square minus 7x minus 18 and x square. In place of mod x we are going to take minus x, so it will become x square plus 7x minus 18 equal to 0. Okay, don't forget this equal to 0 when you are writing an equation. Okay, and you may have this doubt that, sir, if mod x has that property, if I give a minus thing, it will give us positive thing, positive answer. Then why we are converting that into these things? Let us leave it as mod x only. No, you cannot, because you know why? Because we are finding the solutions of x. What can be the possible values of x that can be given here? So if you take mod x as only plus x, you'll get only the possible values of plus x. But what if it is minus x? You can give that values also. So that's why we are converting the equation into possible equations. So we have to cover here two equations and two equations. But before going into that, find the discriminant. So what is the discriminant here? B square minus 4ac. So if I do that, 49 minus 4 of a is 1, c is 8, c is minus 8. So it will be plus, and even if it has a great value, it will be positive value only, right? So it is not a minus value, so it can have two roots. So let us see. 4 is 32, 4 72. So if I add it, I'll get 121. So 121 is square of 11. So I can get the values of this root very easily. Minus 7 plus or minus 11 by 2. So if it is plus, it will be 4 by 2, that is 2, or minus 7 minus 7 minus 8, so other root is minus 8. There are two roots. And here b square 49 minus 4ac, again same thing, it will be 121 only, but the roots will be minus 7 plus or minus 11 by 2. Sorry, I have taken a wrong thing here. It has to be minus 2 comma 9. Okay, and here it is 2 comma minus 9. Okay, so are there any common roots? No, right? So that means 1 2 3 4 different roots are possible. Okay, so in a single equation you do have 4 roots. Observe that carefully. This quadratic equation can be mixed with any other function. For example, logarithmic function or an exponential function, any other function. So like that, in one of your years, I think 2024 in Indore, this question has been given. How many distinct positive integer valued solutions exist to the equation x square minus 7x plus 1 to the power x square minus 13x plus 42 is equal to 1. I couldn't write it as a exponent, so that's why I given this symbol here. Let us write it in a normal way. Minus 7x plus 11 power x square minus 13x plus 42 is equal to 1. Okay, this is the question. So in this, what we have to know, the equation of this quadratic equation, I mean this quadratic expression will have roots only when its discriminant has a positive value. Okay, we have to check for that only. If it is equal to 0, it will have only one root, and here also we have to check for discriminant. But how can we check a discriminant if you don't know this is equating to 0 or not? Okay, we cannot. But if you observe carefully, right hand side of equal to, it is 1, whose value will become 1 whenever anything to the power 0 can become 1, or 1 to power anything, I mean should not be infinite or anything like this, anything will become 1, or minus 1 whole to the power an even number will become 1. I hope you understood your previous classes where I have discussed binomial expansion, in which a minus b whole power n will have plus 1 as the last term when we have an even power, right? Because minus 1 towards to the power of even power will become plus 1 only. Like that, you have another condition also, that minus 1 to the power 2n, an even number, will become 1 again. So there are 3 conditions that you have to see. So x square minus 7x plus 1, the base can have, I mean if it is x, I don't know, I mean it can have any other value, or else it can have 1 or minus 1, right? If it have 1, it will become x square minus 7x plus 11 is equal to 1. But if it comes into the left hand side, it will become like this. Okay, so how many integer valued solutions can come from this? Check it. And other equation is x square minus 7x plus 11 minus 1 is equal to minus 1. That means if I take other equation, plus 12 equal to 0, this is another equation. So how many integer valued solutions are possible here? Check it. And there is only one way thing here, that is x square minus 13x plus 42 has to be 0. Okay, then how many solutions are possible here? How many integer value solutions? Remember this, solutions can be 2 only, I mean here 2, here 2 and here 2, but whether they are integers or not, you can check that always by finding discriminant. Okay, so in this way, different ways of quadratic equation, I mean different problems can be asked in quadratic equations. I discussed only those top models and those important models that were that were given in your previous year questions. And I hope even IIM Kozhikode will ask in quadratic equations, and they may cover a simple way, simple quadratic equation, also simple ways where we have discussed what if these two are the roots of quadratic equation, like 1 by alpha, 1 by beta, like that. Okay, how to find the quadratic equation? Just simple, add them and take it as b coefficient, product, I mean take product of them and take it as a constant term. So like this we will find a quadratic equation there. And other problem is finding discriminant. With finding the discriminant, you can find the values of the roots also. And what is the other way? The third model is through graphs. This is the way Indore asks the questions. I don't think Kozhikode may follow the rule or not. So generally they can ask questions through quadratic equation, I mean graphs also. Okay, I mean whether it has a minimum point or maximum point, or whether it is increasing or decreasing. There are 2 instances where Indore has asked the questions on this quadratic equation, I mean depending on the graph. Okay, so what else? So these things are for quadratic equation or polynomial equation in degree 2. What if it is of degree 3? Let us see that also. Okay, so ax cube plus bx square plus cx plus d is equal to 0. So here also you can find the sum of the roots. How? If I mean, how many roots are possible here? You have only 3 roots. Okay, in these 3 roots, again you can have the sum of the roots as minus of x square coefficient divided by a coefficient. Okay, and next alpha beta gamma product of the roots, it would be minus d by a. Why this minus? We will come to know that. So next thing that can be asked in this is alpha beta plus beta gamma plus gamma delta will be equal to c by a. How to know all these things? How to remember these things? It's nothing. When they ask only sum of individual numbers, individual roots, it will be x square coefficient divided by, I mean, minus of x square coefficient divided by x cube coefficient, or second highest coefficient. Second highest coefficient x square, second highest is this one, its coefficient will be b. So minus of that divided by highest coefficient, highest term, highest exponent coefficient, that is a. Okay, and coming to the next one, alpha beta, beta gamma, gamma delta. So the next one would be c. We have to take minus alternatively. So if you take minus b by a here, you will take c by a, and like that alpha beta gamma will be minus d by a. You can apply this to biquadratic equation also, that is when you have 4 roots and it is x power 4. So like this you can always take expand all these things. So roots and quadratic equations are important concept in this algebra. So please cover it and cover all these models. Thank you guys.